In this video, you can see in the top it says histograms and sampling, but we're only looking at sampling in this video, objective 96, which is nothing to do with histograms, so it's M1 level. We're going to understand the terms sample and population, understand simple random sampling, and the effect of sample size on the reliability of conclusions. If you're revising and want to do any questions, we've got 3 there that you can try. Okay, so let's look at the definition here. What are these keywords? The population is the complete set of data. When information is required from this complete set, it is often impossible or impractical to ask everyone. A sample of the population would then be taken. So a sample is a subset of the population, a part of it or a fraction of it. The sample should be large enough to make the results meaningful, representative of the complete data set, and unbiased. Bias is when the sample does not really represent the properties of the population. So there's a few things to consider. The main things to consider: sample size. A small sample can lead to misleading results, as a sample might only include people of, say, the same gender or the same age or the same income, if you don't have enough in your sample. The timing of the survey. If you conduct a survey of train passengers at 8 AM, for example, you will bias the sample towards working people. Think about the location of the survey. If you want information on people's favourite sport and you conduct a survey outside a football ground, for example, you will bias the sample towards people whose favourite sport is football. So in those cases, potentially because of those sample size, the timing of the survey, the location of the survey, your sample will not represent the population, so it won't be a very good sample. There are different types of ways of sampling. Here we're going to look at what's called random sampling. A random sample is a sample in which all pieces of data are chosen completely at random. For example, we could give each piece of data a different number and then choose numbers at random, or pick them out of a hat would be quite a common way to say it. So if where it says all pieces are chosen completely at random, that means that each piece of data has an equal chance of being chosen, which is this positive point I was trying to see on the screen. So the positive point about random sampling is that all the data set has an equal chance of being chosen. So in that regard, it's not biased. The negative point is there is no guarantee that the data set in the sample would be representative of the population. You'd have to sort of analyse to see that. So in that case, you could say, well, it's going to be biased then, but that's because of the survey, how the survey was created, not because of actually the random sampling process. Systematic random sampling. This is when the data set in the sample is chosen at random according to some rule. For example, every 5th item is chosen. So the positive point for that is that all the data set has an equal chance of being chosen, and this is a quick method. The negative point is there's no guarantee that the data set in the sample would be representative of the population again. There can be other issues with that. Let's say it was maybe a class list and you said, right, we want half the people, I'll choose every second person. If there were twins, say, in the class, you can guarantee that one will be chosen and one won't be chosen. There could be a few issues there. Probably overthinking it though. When you do these questions, don't think about the strange cases. Try and think of the most obvious things to mention. That's where you're most likely to get marks. If you're too obscure, it might not make sense, or you might not be able to explain it clear enough to get the marks. So number 1, we have a hypothesis. Students prefer hot meals at lunchtime. So the sampling method that they choose to help prove or disprove this hypothesis is to choose every 4th student on the school register and ask them if they prefer hot meals at lunchtime. So is this a random sample or a systematic sample? Because it is every 4th student, they are following some system or rule. so it is a systematic sample. Part B, I think in an exam you'd get a clearer question this is quite hard. It's quite hard to actually ask questions about these sort of topics, so they don't come up as often for that reason. Is this a representative sample? And if not, give a reason why. So the blurb earlier on said that you don't know if it's necessarily going to be representative or not. Now, if you think about this, if you choose every fourth student in the school, every fourth student, I think that would be a good representation of the school, because it's a quarter of the school. If you've got 1,000 pupils, nearly, that's 250 students. I think that's going to be pretty representative. I don't see any reason why it would maybe bias towards any sort of gender or age or anything like that there. So is this a representative sample? I would go with yes. And question 2. A student is researching the difference in how much exercise adults and children do. To collect their data, the students interview the first 25 people found in the high street at 11 a.m. on one Monday morning. State 3 criticisms of this method. So you have to think about what it is they're trying to find out or collect data about and how they go about it, and then match the two up. So it's researching the difference in how much exercise adults and children do, and then interviews the first 25 people found in the high street at 11 a.m. one Monday morning. With 3 criticisms, you're going to look at sort of different parts of that question, try and break it down. So first of all, it's the first 25 people. Secondly, it's found in the high street. Thirdly, it's 11 a.m. and to have another colour, it's one Monday morning. So there's 4 things. Maybe I can get hopefully 3 reasons why that's maybe not so good. So 25 people, I think that's probably a very small sample size. Okay, we were looking at 250 there for 250 for that last question was probably very, very high. A lot of people to ask in the last question about hot meals. I think you would know before 250 what the opinions are. But 25, I would say, is too small a sample size, so it's unreliable. Found on the high street, I suppose 11 a.m. I could put that one together. That's going to be biased towards a certain group of people. 11 a.m. on the high street, you're going to, on a Monday, you're going to get very few students there. You're going to get very few people who are working. You're probably going to get people who are retired there, or maybe people who don't work. It's not going to be representative of the full population there. So the timing is biased towards those who are not at work. It's not likely to get a good opinion of those who do work, or people who are at school. And by doing one Monday morning as well, that's potentially got an issue there. A better representation would be to choose a range of mornings, and like maybe Saturday as well, and different things, because people work different patterns, and you might be more likely to get certain people and less likely. Like if you had to do 11 a.m, I would say, well, maybe do a Monday, but then also do a Saturday to try and catch people who are not working. So maybe a larger range of days would be more appropriate. I'll write something down here for you to reread. Okay, so I've summarised it here. There's a small sample size, so unreliable. The timing stroke location is biased towards those who are not at work or school. And choosing one day is not as good a representation of the population as a range of days. And I suppose I didn't talk too much about the location. It might not be biased towards those who are not at school if you choose the location to be actually in school. So yeah, you need to be just out of that. Anyway, move on to this last one, number 3. We've got 200 students in year 11. took a mathematics test. Leo wants to find out whether students in year 11 like mathematics. For his sample, he asks the 20 students who got the highest marks in the test. Write down why this is a biased sampling method. So hopefully it's clear. You can't say it's always true, but there will be a trend here, and the 20 students who got the highest mark, they're more likely to be students who enjoy mathematics. Not always the case, but that would be what I would say. So students with the highest marks are more likely to like maths, which means the sample is biased. I'll just write that down too. So students with the highest marks are more likely to like mathematics.